What's up, y'all? It's your boy Devin, and welcome to the Friday edition of the Devin Young Show. So we just had a Senate race wrap up here in Michigan where Abdul Al-Sayed beat out Haley Stevens. Now, for those who don't know, Haley Stevens worked under the Obama administration, and she helped do a lot of good here during the recession, during the auto bailout, and she saved a lot of jobs, or she helped to save a lot of jobs. But this decision to put Abdul Al-Sayed in a Senate seat is starting to show a trend, and that capitalism is on its way out. Capitalism is a flawed system, and for as long as I could remember, socialism was just the step above communism, when in reality it's not. See, I was just at the gas station, and there was a man who came in there and put $9.45 on a pump in the United States of America, in the wealthiest, most prosperous nation on earth, the shining city on the hill. That's who we are. And people are putting $9.45 in their tank. There was a note on the ticker, the news ticker, that said that people are dipping into their savings just to buy essentials, food, toiletries, soap, towels, just basic things, shoes for their children. So capitalism is not a structure for the everyday person. Capitalism is for wealthy people. Capitalism is a system put in place to extract as much value. But that's not how countries work. That's not how countries are structured. That's not how they're set up. Countries are not businesses. I'm going to say that again. Countries are not businesses. They're not meant to be run like businesses. It's cash in, it's cash out. You pay your taxes every year. Every single penny that you pay should be allocated to a service, whether it's fire, police, schools, roads, healthcare, whatever. Every single penny. If there's a surplus, you need to get a refund check. That's how countries are structured. There are millionaires in socialist countries. There are billionaires in socialist countries. They just pay their share. They don't get to jump through loopholes, and I'm sure they do. I'm sure they have some very, very crafty attorneys, some very savvy people who can move money from A to B. That doesn't change. Wealthy people speak. They're in the same network, same circles. They move the same way. But in socialist countries, they have health care. The number one reason for bankruptcy in the United States of America is medical debt. And not only that, they kill 250,000 people a year. Medical malpractice results in 250,000 deaths per year. So not only do you not get free health care, you get substandard health care unless you're wealthy and can afford it. So no health care, your road, like the roads that I drive here in Michigan, they are abysmal. They are absolutely horrible. My parents live in one of the most taxed cities in the state, and their roads are horrible. The infrastructure is trash. So what are we getting for our money? We get to build more bases. During this Iran conflict, they showed that there have been 27 bases in the Middle East attacked. 27. So I decided to do a little Google search. We have 877 bases around the world. Think how much, just think an infrastructure costs. You have to travel there. They have to upkeep, maintenance, food, waste, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These bases are costing billions of dollars each. And Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, is sitting in Congress begging for more money. This year, the budget was $1 trillion. Next year, they want the budget for our military to be $1.5 trillion. Meanwhile, our debt is skyrocketing. So just think. Just think if we socialized our country. We brought all that money back here. We don't need to. You can't say on one hand that the world depends on us for security, and you're everywhere. How about we bring those people home? How about we save some money? How about we kind of, lessen the tension in the region a little bit? Stop giving money to foreign governments and focus on us. Just focus on home. And that's what socialism is. That's why people hate Zoran Mamdani, purely because he's Muslim. Because what did he say that's wrong? We want city-run grocery stores. We want to subsidize public transportation. We want kids to eat in school. We want rent freezes. How are you against this? People have been complaining for the last 4 years, how the price of everything was going up. We can't afford eggs. We can't afford meat. We can't afford this. We can't afford that. And then someone says, hey, we're going to take care of that for you. We're going to use the money that you've already paid and use that money to help subsidize your expenses. What a concept. People don't like Abdul Al-Sayed. This man he graduated from the University of Michigan, double major, biology and poli-sci. He went to Oxford. He's a Rhodes Scholar. He got a full ride to go to University of Michigan's medical school. He's worked in public health care. He knows what he's doing. And people don't like him just because they don't like what he looks like and they don't like what he calls God. That's it. I've seen people talk about Michigan has committed treason. No Muslim should ever hold any government office. See, the thing about Mamdani is this. He was not born here. He was born in Uganda. But Abdul Al-Sayed, he was born here in the great state of Michigan. So constitutionally, whether you like him or not, whether you hate his religion or not, he can still run for president legally. See, the young kids, they're disillusioned with it. The American dream is dead. It's dead. That house, gone. You will rent for the rest of your life, or you will be saddled with a mortgage so ridiculous that you have no choice but to live there forever. Can't buy a car. A damn Honda Accord is almost 50 grand. They're over it. They're over watching their futures be washed down the river so you can subsidize some billionaire, so you can give some tax cut to some billionaire. Elon Musk pays zero taxes here in the United States for Tesla. Zero. Meanwhile, he pays China $39 billion a year in taxes. China. So he could have a Tesla factory there. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here? You got all these people making all this money. Jeff Bezos just got a $640 million tariff refund check. Did you get your refund check? Because you paid tariffs too. When you walked into Walmart and all those goods where 80-90% of all the goods in Walmart are made in China, you paid tariffs on that shit too. Where's your refund check? You might get one, but you're going to wait. You're going to wait until every billionaire, 100 millionaire gets their checks first. And then when what's left over, you can fight over. It's done. Capitalism was a way to build wealth. It's not a way to sustain wealth. Because where is it? I mean, if I made $1 billion a year, what was it? Coming out of the recession, they were paying, the Great Depression, billionaires were paying 90% of their tax revenue, of their income, 90%. If I make $1 billion a year, I can deal with that. I think I might be able to live off 100 million. I mean, it might be tough, We might have to cut back on the avocado toast. Might have to cut my subscriptions a little bit. Penny pitch here and there, clip some coupons, but I think I can make it. I think we can survive off 100 million. There is no reason why there should be any tent city in the United States of America. There's no reason why there should be food instability, why any child should go hungry, any child. And that's what I don't get about, the pro-life, conservative base who want people to pump out kids that they can't afford. Meanwhile, they will let your child starve in school. Think about that. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's going to be rich. That's fallacy. That's just not realistic. But everybody should have something. Everybody should have a place to go home to. People shouldn't have to work 2 and 3 jobs to survive and live. Grown-ups should not have to have roommates. That's just, and if you can't grasp that, then you're part of the problem. They're not coming for you. They're not saving you. Elon Musk would set you on fire if it meant he can get his hands on another $1 billion. Focus on people who want to take care of your infrastructure. They want to take care of you. They want you to be happy and healthy. This should be struggling to make ends meet. No, man. When I was younger, I used to want that too. I used to be like, man, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a billionaire, man. And this is coming from the times where, we had songs like, if I had $1 million, I'd be rich. But now, there's nothing ethical about that. Name one ethical billionaire. Just one. One you could look at. The most ethical billionaire is probably Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, who gives all her money away. There you go. So why are we still doing this? I mean, how has capitalism made our lives any better? The man who was just spending $9 to put gas in his tank, how does that make his life better? The people dipping into savings to buy basics, going into debt to buy basics, how has capitalism made their life better? Honestly, real world. Well, you get to buy more stuff? If that's the extent of your happiness and your joy in life, man, you need a deeper pool. You really do. I support these dudes. But I'm from Michigan. I saw, Jake Lang come up here with his hateful self, and Dearborn. Let me put y'all up on Dearborn in case y'all don't know, because I'm sure you heard about it. Those Arabs have been in Dearborn for over 100 years. There is no takeover. They've always been here. My entire life, my parents' entire life, my grandparents' entire life, they've been here. Those people are as American as apple pie. You call your God, or Yahweh. They call theirs Allah. It's the same thing. It's just the Arab translation of the word God. They aren't trying to take over. They live in a small part of Dearborn, not even the entire city of Dearborn. They live in a small part of Dearborn. And they have businesses. Their kids go to normal high school. There is no Sharia law. They go to normal high school. It's not Muslim or Arab only. Dearborn is not Muslim or Arab only. It's a collection of people. And yes, they have mosques, because in the United States, we have this beautiful thing called freedom of religion. Something that a lot of people seem to have forgotten. And I'm noticing that over the past year or so, people have really forgotten what the Constitution of the United States is. Because if they knew, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Dearborn is a good community full of good people. And, you can talk about all this shit. There ain't been an attack. There's been no insistence on changing laws or, pressure through violence or coercion. None. They just live there. And all these people are making money off of this hate that people have been sitting on. So no, these people, Abdul Al-Sayed is just as American as I am. He was born in Rochester. He grew up in Bloomfield Hills. He is just as American as I am. If you gave him my name, nobody'd have a problem with it. That's what we need to stop. We don't get to move without changing. You have to change or you will stay the same. And whether, it takes a year or 5 years, he's governor, he helps turn the state around, he runs for president. Like, these are small little changes. And these small little changes will impact people's lives. You think people in New York aren't happy that their cost of living is coming down? You're paying $3,000 a month for a closet in New York. You think these people aren't happy about their costs coming down? And people, all these proponents against him, they're like, well, the billionaires and millionaires are going to leave. No, they're not. Leave and go where? You think that millionaires and billionaires are going to leave the financial capital? Let's just say the country, not even the world. The financial capital of the country, the media capital, not entertainment, because that's California. Every single major news outlet, except for CNN, is headquartered in New York City. You think they're gonna leave the diversity and the access they get in New York City and go where? Texas? Florida? Come on, man. That's not how people think. Those people, those millionaires and billionaires are so busy burying money and moving it from place to place to even care. This was just a way to rile up you poor people. You brokies. That's what they did. They riled you up. Oh my God, he's going to come in and it's going to be Sharia socialism. You're going to be wearing hijabs. You bought into it. They playing you. They playing us. And I don't care about none of that. Oh, they want to keep us divided shit. No, we want to stay divided. Because if we actually wanted to unify with each other, we would. We would bypass race, class, religion, and all that shit. And we would say, we're done. We've had enough. So when do we have enough? And I know people, they don't want any of these things to come into place because they see themselves as that. I learned that. People don't want to impose restrictions on the billionaire class because they're like, one day I'm going to be a billionaire and I don't want to have to go through those same things that they will have to go through. Sweetie, you have a better chance of being struck by lightning than becoming a billionaire. I know that's hard for you to hear. It's hard for you to swallow, but you're going to have to choke it down. You're not going to die a billionaire. You're not going to die with multiple properties and a 600-foot yacht. It's not going to happen. Your wives and your kids are not going to be wiping their tears with $100 bills. It's not going to happen. We need to worry about each other. And if my tax dollars, if every single penny of my tax dollars needs to go to help make my community better, then so be it. For kids to eat, for people to have health care, for people to be able to get from point A to point B without breaking the bank, for us to subsidize housing, I have no problem with that because I want my community stronger and safer because that's the correlation. That's the crime correlation. It's class. Any poor neighborhood of any color, any religion you go to, they go through the same things because it's all about the Benjamins. You go to affluent communities, middle-class communities of any ethnicity, of any race, and look at the crime stats compared to that same community where the money's different, where people are struggling to survive. So that's what you should strive for. A safer community, a stronger community. Does that sound bad? Does that sound so bad? Or do you want your tax dollars to keep going overseas? Your choice, man. So I hope y'all have a great weekend. I hope that you're safe, you have fun. Call up your mama. Tell you love her. Tell your dad you love him. Tell your siblings, spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, whomever. And most of all, tell yourself that you love you too. Peace.